Now let's write the C++ code for finding the single number in the array of values where every number is appearing twice except for a single number. Okay, that single number we need to return in the end. So here, since we are going to apply binary searching, let me just define the variables here, which is nothing but start and end. End is nothing but pointing to the last index, which is nothing but size of the array -1. Along with that, let's also define middle and initialize it with -1. Now I will simply be running a loop as long as start is less than whatever the end that we have got. In each and every step, what I want to do, I want to calculate the middle. So that middle is nothing but start plus end divided by 2. Okay, till here every piece of line is exactly like what we had in the binary search. This is where we need to rely on the property that we had discussed previously. Now, if at all, if every number is appearing twice, right, it starts appearance at even index, ends at odd index, and that property basically holds valid till we find a value which is appearing only once. If after the value that is appearing only once, that property will no longer hold true. So based on that, if at all, if the middle index that we have got here is odd, in that case middle -1 and middle index will have the same value. If at all the middle that we have got is even, in that case middle plus 1 and middle will have the same value. If at all the values are starting at even index and ending at odd index. So here, to check that, let's check if at all middle percentile 2 is equal to 0, that means that it is an even number. Along with that, if at all the value we have at this middle is equal to the value we have at the middle plus 1th index. This is the case if middle is a even number, or the middle that we are currently at, if it is an odd number, in that case here middle percentile 2 will be equal to 1. Along with that, the value at middle -1 and the value at the middle index will be same. If this condition is matching, the property of starting its appearance at even index and ending at odd index is still holding true till middle index. That means the single value will be available after middle index. So to continue our search on the after the middle index, I will simply update the start with middle plus 1. Okay, if this is not the case, that means that if this condition is not matching, we are already falling into the range where the single number is available. How? The left part of the middle will basically contain, not only left part, anywhere from start till middle will basically contain, any index can contain that single value. So to continue that search here, end we will simply be updating it with middle itself. Okay, and the logic keeps on continuing as long as whatever the start that we have is less than or equal to end. Now in the end, whatever the value we have at the start index, right, that start index will be pointing to the value which is appearing only once. So here we need to return array of start, that is nothing but the value at the start index. Okay, so that is the effective way of finding the single number, in which basically in an array containing all the values appearing multiple twice and except one value. Moreover, we have written this using binary searching technique. So all the problems that we have solved so far using binary searching is different, and this problem is different. We also need to give more attention to the property that if every value is appearing twice, it starts its appearance at even index and ends at odd index till we find that single number. Once we reach the index where that single number is there, after that, that property is broken for all the values. Based on that, we are applying the binary searching algorithm here, that you need to remember. Okay, anyway, here I have written the code for calling that function also, right? Now let's just test it on array of values we have. Here the array that I have passed has all the values appearing twice except 3. So if I run this now, the output that I am expecting is 3 because it is a single number, and 3 is what we have got. For example, let's just add 3 once again, and let me just remove one of the 6. So here every value is appearing twice except 6. So if I run now, 6 is what I am expecting, and that is what I have got on the console. Okay, and let's just test the scenario where we have only one pair and one single number. So in this case also I should be getting 2, and that is what I have got on the console. Okay, so here to test even worse scenario, let's just say the array that I'm passing is having only one value. In that case, no, it itself is a single element, right? So if I run this now, 1 is what we are expecting and 1 is what we have got on the console as well. Okay, so that is how we find the single element in an array of values in which basically every value is appearing twice except for a single value. Okay, so that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next problem.